All right, top of the morning. We are back with another chat. Today, we are not going to get into politics or any of that nonsense of what's going on in the political realm. We're going to hit on something that hits on everybody, specifically here in North America, and that's the housing crisis and anyone looking to get into buying a house. And I just finished reading an article, which I'll leave a description in the things below to this article, and it's by CNN, and I want to talk about things from a first-hand perspective, and I understand, I believe a lot of fellow construction workers, tradesmen would understand that a lot of this is BS that they're saying, but a lot of people might not see it either because it's not talked about. And it's not talked about, and it's the main factor in what's contributing to the housing crisis for a long time already. Even before I got into the trades and out of the trades. And yes, I am no longer in the trades. And it's for the reasons we're going to be talking about coming up. And the key reasons I'm telling you that these mainstream outlets are feeding the public a bunch of BS when it comes to why the housing crisis is happening. Now, I'm not saying that all their information is wrong. However, they're missing a large factor. And I don't mean to disrespect anyone in the construction industry. I respect all my brothers and sisters in the blue collar game, everyone that loves to get up early, pound dust, get calluses on their hands, and work a sweat up on their brow. But you can be union or non-union. We are all getting the shit end of the stick, and I'll explain in a bit. So, getting into this, how we can solve the nation's affordable housing crisis. The article was done a few months ago, so it is a little delayed, but it's still relevant today. Millions of Americans are losing out on the chance to reap the benefits of homeownership because of supply shortage. This shortage is most accurate among affordable homes, where low and moderate income renters, young first-time homebuyers, and people of color are losing faith that they will be able to experience that part of the American dream. So I find it fancy that we're going to be emphasizing on race here right off the bat, but whatever. We must do better. Do better. The U.S. is in need of roughly 3.8 million to 5.5 million housing units. Building more homes for low and moderate income families and first-time homebuyers, and equipping these families with reliable, affordable financing tools so they can compete to buy these homes is essential if we're to solve the nation's affordable homeownership crisis. So they're talking as they really give two hoots about you buying a house, because who's making the money right now on prices going up? It's the upper echelon, not the sheep and cattle of society. In many respects, the crisis was born during the Great Recession. The per capita rate of new production of single-family homes plummeted in the mid-2000s and has remained at about half that of the preceding 4 decades. This deficit quietly accumulates even as millennials who initially delayed homeownership in the aftermath of the financial crisis began to enter the market. Then came the past 2 years of flu. I can't say the word, but you know what I mean. Low interest rates and another word I can't say, stoked housing demand, while labor and material shortages and supply chain challenges slowed construction and increased cost. So let's blame again the last 2 years of nonsense on everything that's happened in the past 40 years at least. Let's blame it all on that. Yes, we're going to say it started in the Great Recession, but we're going to get into that. Land prices and development costs are also rising in many parts of the country. The result is an environment in which developers are discouraged from building smaller, more affordable homes in favor of high-end homes that can absorb an increased cost while still returning a profit. So again, it's all about the money. Now, you can read the rest of this article. I'm going to get into what they offer as solutions. And I'm going to kind of talk to you about how it's a bunch of BS all at the end. So incentivize new construction of affordable homes. Financial incentives can encourage builders to build new homes that are within reach of many first-time homebuyers. Possible incentives run the gamut, from federal supports and subsidies to better terms on construction lending to fewer local regulations and restrictions that significantly add to building costs. Remember that one, because I'm going to get back to that one, because they're trying... I understand what's going on politically and where they're trying to give the money, but it doesn't get down to the people that matter. They want to lift condo lending restrictions. Who gives a shit? Because it's a condo. I understand you own a condo, but we're talking about homes here. Condos can be high-rises, and those can be slapped together in a matter of months. You can slap a couple 100-story high-rise full of condos. Focusing on manufactured housing. So again, this is something cool that I've actually I got into at the tail end of my contracting days, and that's working with manufactured homes and modular homes. Z Modular is one of the big players in that game, and they're quite interesting concepts and the way they're designed. So I don't knock them. However, they are quite small, and if you're looking for a house of some sort of size that you can have some sort of family in, or whatever you put in your house, you're going to want some size. These things go like 1,000 square feet, I think, at most. Improving financing for existing homes. So let's get into putting people into more debt than they already are. Let's give them more money so that they can get into more debt, because these housing prices are ridiculous. But again, that's not the issue. Empower borrowers. So again, we're talking about finances. That's not the issue. And that's kind of wraps up their solutions. And I don't need any more notes on this subject. So what they don't get into is the people who build the homes, the construction worker, the laborer, the carpenter, the plumber, the electrician, the roofer, the heavy equipment operators, all those people. There's a shortage in the trades. Hands down. There was one in the trades 20 years ago when I got into the trades. There's even a greater shortage and demand for tradesmen now after I've exited the trades. And I still have friends and family that are in the trades, and to each their own. However, there is a reason that there is a shortage in the trades. Being in the trades, I started in high school, all right? Wages then to now have not increased that much. And I don't care if you're in union or non-union. They have not increased at the level that your living expenses have gone up. That the the cost of living has gone up and the cost of inflation. And contractors are getting incentives to bring on people and to hire more people. But those incentives are not given to those people. The contractors and the business owners pocket that money. At the end of the day, the tradesman is still going to make their $30 to $40 an hour. I know that in the unions there might be at 45, a little bit in that area. However, if you're in the union, you're not guaranteed year-round work. So that 40 to 45 to $50 an hour is not your actual hourly rate if you take that across the board on all 12 months. And if you're not working for 6 months and you're working 6 months, well, your $50 an hour just became 25. If you're non-union, you're working all year round, you're at a lower rate, and that's how the non-unions get around. And the unions typically do the government jobs that the non-union can't do. But at the end of the day, the tradesmen, the people who build the buildings, are not getting the money. And there's a mentality in society that tradesmen make good money. Yes, at one time they did make good money, and I'm not saying that between $30 and $50 an hour is not good money, because it's good money. But we don't know how to save, first off, and we live in a era where things cost a lot more than they did 20, 30 years ago. Now, let's fast forward where I'm at right now, and the reason I got out of the trades. And even as a contractor, yes, I can bill out $150, $200 for a service call, $100 an hour on a per hour on a job if I wanted to. You're not going to get much jobs, then you got to bring them down. You got to go get material changes prices all the time. Gas has just shot through the roof. You still have all the other overhead that you got to come up with. Then you're looking for work because there's so much work out there that you're trying to bring in employees. Now every single employee is not worth the ground that he walks on, because everyone's looking for the money, but no one wants to pull up their pants and tie their shoes and do the actual work. They all want to bitch and moan, feel entitled about what breaks they should get. 15 minutes here. If they want to wash up break, they need a proper shitter to go to the bathroom in and sit down on the toilet because they can't stand up like a proper man. Sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a rant, but this is the issues that we do face in construction. Now, I'm not even going to get into the side of where females come into the trades. Or, on that matter, being in part of the union. Yes, you make more money, but then you got to deal with the people that don't want to do any work, and the union pacifies the people that don't want to get the work, and they get laid off first from the big jobs, get the first jobs that come up, and then they're on the jobs the longest. But the people that are staying with companies for 7 years then get laid off because we are in a recession, and then they're on the books the longest because they were a good employee. Does that sound fair? So, with all that nonsense that's going on, is $30 to $50 an hour worth it? I have to buy my own tools. I have to pack lunch. I have to sweat my bag off because I can't wear shorts on a construction site. I have to wear long pants. I have to wear polyester reflective top. I have to wear a hard hat, glasses, gloves, full time, even if I'm working with small little wires. Safety, because it's a Budweiser chick that's my safety rep here, telling me that I have to wear gloves in minus 40-degree weather to touch 16 gauge wire. How's that going to work? When brings me to the next point. Why people don't get in the trades and why I got out is that you can now make $60 to $100 to $400 an hour working online and not leaving the comfort of your own home. And the reason that sparked my curiosity is, as a contractor, I had someone doing my social media, a reputable company from back home, and they did well for a little bit. However, they were pricey, to the point that they were $65 an hour to maintain my content. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is really involved in doing content? You don't even have to finish high school. If you can get a good computer, you're creative on websites, you know how to gather things, you know how to study markets, you know how to study businesses, you know how to engage with people, you know how to reach people. You don't need a degree, you don't have to go to trade school. You can work your own hours because a lot of it's automated as long as you schedule everything properly and you have all your ducks in a row. And you can work from anywhere in the world at any time and not have to worry about, I need new work boots, or today's storming outside and I'm going to get rained on, but I got to go dig trenches. So before we start looking at solutions of housing crisis, we need to look at the solution of why the houses aren't getting built and who builds those houses and how do we get in more. And so my issue is, if I as a content creator, as a digital marketer, or someone who works online these days, can bill out between $75 and $100 an hour, and there are companies out there, and I found them, that you can do Audible, voice, reading novels, and they pay you anywhere between $100 and $400 an hour online. So please tell me the incentive of joining the trades. And I'm not saying that it's not a good skill to have some sort of trade background to fall on, because when online does, or if it does ever come down crashing, you need those skills. But in order to incentivize people to gain those skills, we need to incentivize them to make money so they don't go elsewhere. And if business owners and companies are getting incentives from politicians, from governments, that money needs to go to the person who's putting that nail in the piece of wood, drilling a hole through the 2x4 to run that wire, or copper pipe, it's PEX now, or whatever it is that is involved with constructing anything that I bet you're currently sitting in. I'll leave you with that. That was a little bit of a long one. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.